Hey guys, XNOR here and welcome to Cruel Boolean Wires. This is what the module will look like. It will look reminiscent of course, Boolean Wires, but of course the main difference being the three screens up here being different to what you'd normally see, and the grid of wires being a lot bigger this time. The idea of this module is basically identical to Boolean Wires. We're going to be making a logical operator out of these wires to fulfill a condition given by these two screens here specifically. I'll go on to what this screen means later. However, if you've seen worst Venn diagram, this includes the thing that appeared in that, which is the unknown type of so there's normally Boolean variables is true or false, but this one includes an unknown, which is just basically not true or false. So instead of debating between whether something makes something true or false, we're going to be also considering the third option. The idea of this module is we're going to be cutting the wires so it gives the intended output given by the colour of the wires, as we can see here. If it's red, like it is here, we're going to be evaluating to false. If they come up green, we're evaluating to true, and then blue is unknown. So, what are we going to be evaluating? Well, this is what these two things are for. There will either be number statements or letter statements. Funny enough, here we've actually got two number statements here. Hopefully we'll get an actual letter one appear. So for number statements, the initial value of them is going to be decided by which one of these three columns is true. Only one of these columns is going to be true. As far as I know, all of these I've set up in a way so they can't be two true at the same time. So let's get started on 9 here. So we go down to 9. And this first column is for false. So 9 will return false if the serial number has 2 digits and 4 letters. So as you can see with this one, this gives the 3 different types of serial number you can see. So of course you're not going to have 2 that apply. Our serial number in fact has 3 letters and 3 numbers. So it's going to be this one, which if we go back to the top here, returns unknown. So our first variable is currently unknown. I'll get to what the plus and the exclamation mark mean. And our other variable is 4, which you can then evaluate here. And this is based on when we generated the bomb. Here I have generated this on a Thursday. So that applies to this one, which also returns unknown. However, we have to take into account the plus and the exclamation points or minus can also appear. And that is what this is for. This shows how each thing translates to the new version. The normal version would be inside is true, basically true is true, unknown is unknown, and false is false. But then you just translate it across these ones to see what each changes into. So that's all. Something plus, the unknown ring is now green, meaning that unknown actually becomes true. Then for exclamation mark plus, which is basically flipping around these two, the ring becomes false. So we're actually evaluating when true false gives us false. So how do we decide between these? This is where the number comes in. This number gives us where to start, so in this case 3 is here. And we're going to keep on going across each of these until we get one when true false gives us false. So let's see. True false would be in this circle and outside of this one entirely. So we're looking at this crescent moon shape. So it's true here, which is not what we want, but it's false here, which is what we do want. So we're going to be inputting this right arrow, which you might recognise as just a regular implication, similarly to this one. So we now have to input this into the module somehow. This is where we have to move down to here. This shows us how to translate the logical operators into this grid. So in this case, quite simple, an arrow. So I'm going to cut these ones. We don't need any of the outside ones. We need this middle one and here. So you can see we now have the arrow. Let's just make sure. True false would be here, which is what we wanted. So hopefully if we've done that right, we're going to be pressing this screen here. And we get complete one stage. And as you know, there are going to be 5 stages of this, hence crawl. And we've got 2 number statements here again. But as you can see this time, the wires are green. This time we're going to be trying to evaluate whatever this ends up being to true. So we've got 4 here again. Actually, I think we've got exactly the same setup as we had last time. We have this as unknown. And 3, the sum of the previous displays. Oh, yes, we had remember the previous stages as well. The sum of the previous stage displays, base 86 equivalents, is 1 less than or equal to 3. So if we remember, our previous ones were 9 and 4. So previous stages displays base 86 equivalents of 9 and 4. The sum of these gives us 13. 1 less than or equal to 3. No, it isn't. It's also not a multiple of 3. It's 1 more than a multiple of 3. So it returns true. So then using this table again, unknown in this one is false, and true in this one is actually false. So false false equals true from the third one again. So in this case, false false is the outside, which is funny enough the arrow again, because this is the one where that applies. So we're going to be making the arrow again. Make sure you cut everything. Okay. Did that. Hopefully we've done that right. There we go. And we've both got a letter one this time. Given what we saw there, we should note down what we had previously, so that was 4 and 3. And now let's go into letter statements. How letter statements work is there's only one statement this time, but there are some cases which can return unknown and some which can return true and false, but it's only from one statement. Some statements can return unknown if they have an ampersand in them, where if only one half of the statement is true, it gives unknown. If both halves of the statement are true, it gives true. Otherwise, neither is true, but you get false. So, but with the ones without ampersands, there's still some cases which can return unknown. Specifically, if you go outside of the module's limits. So, for example, the prime checker can't check above the 1000th prime, that being 7919. 7,919. Anything above that, return unknown. Similarly with Lucas and Fibonacci numbers. If it goes above 600, you can't check it. So anything above 600 will give unknown. Dates which are 29, 30, or 31, return unknown. If we were on the first stage and it asked us to refer to a previous stage, but we were on stage 1, it immediately returns unknown, no question asked, and of course, divided by 0 will return unknown. So let's say, any module directly mentioned in the manual of Unfair's Cruel Revenge is present. We only have this module, so no. Cruel Boolean Wires isn't in Unfair's Cruel Revenge. But do note, it will return unknown if only the only directly mentioned module is in fact Unfair's Cruel Revenge, but I think this doesn't count for... No, actually I think it does. It doesn't matter anyway, because if we have this and something else, it's going to refer to that anyway. Normally. But if it's only UCR, it will return unknown. So this is false because we don't have anything. And then numbers again. The sum of the base 6 digits serial number. So if it takes me a calculator out here. So the base 6 characters in the serial number are of course going to be, if you know it, numbers are numbers as they are. The letters are their average position plus 9. So that'll be 20 plus 9 plus 6 plus 23 plus 9 plus 19 plus 9 plus 3. 104. That is in this range. So that returns unknown. Then converting to what it actually means. This one false remains false, and here unknown becomes false. So we're looking for false, false, becoming false from the 7th. So from the 7th, false, false gives true here, same here, but not here. So we're going to be inputting one of the hardest ones, the ampersand. The ampersand is this one here, so we have to be careful on this one. So we don't need this whole box. We don't need this diagonal or these. We don't need that one. Don't need that one, don't need that one. So if we've got this right, we should just have these two here, these two there, these two there, and across there. Yes. There we go. And of course that was U and 8. Okay, 2 later ones this time. Oh, similarly to this one, any module directly mentioned in the manual of identification crisis present, and similarly, if it's just ID crisis, then it returns unknown. So again, no, you don't have anything. So no. I think there's something at the bottom that describes what it means. Yeah. Some modules directly mentioned in their manuals, the ones that are linked in those manuals. In Unfair's Cruel Revenge, Abash cipher, C cipher, and Playful cipher are indirectly mentioned because they're not referred to as the module, they are just used as their ciphers. As you can see here, they're not implied to be modules, so they're not counted. Similar situation applies to Morse code and 3 LEDs, the identification crisis, they do not count either. 3 LEDs, of course, referring to the 3 stage LEDs. then P here, coming back up to here. The day of the month, you activated the bottom one, 29. If you remember down here, what date check it in? Vote dates above 28. Anything about dates with 29, 30 or 31, we've done unknown. I'm doing this on the 29th. So, the day of the month we activated it, it's not going to recognise it, so that's unknown. So, comparing these, T stays as is, P becomes, so it's false true, because the unknown ring is true. So, we're looking for when false true, A false, B true, gives the result of unknown, starting from the first one. So false true is this crescent moon, the opposite one we had from the first stage. So we're looking for when that one is blue, which looking here is we're going to be going a little way. Actually, we're going to be landing exactly where we landed last time. Because we can see here, false is outside of this, true is in here. We're looking for blue, red, green, 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 red, 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 green, red, blue. We're inputting the ampersand again. So, delete that, delete that. Just make sure again. Get that, get that, get that, get that. There you go. Final stage, I think this is now. And we're looking for true again. That was TP. G. One character modules are not present. One character modules, of course, being, if you've seen them, there's H, F, J, N, D, Q, V, U. I think those are all of them. Basically, one character modules are modules where their name is only one character long. So I think 7 also counts on that as well. Oh, and X, Y, and Z. there were quite a lot, so... So, again, only module on here, so... One character modules are in fact not present, so that's true. Yeah, one character modules are not present. They are not present, so that's true. And 7... Okay, this one's an interesting one. So these two can both apply at the same time, but this breaks that tie if needed. So in this case, we're going to have to apply all 3 to figure out what it is. So we need to open up 2 bits. The 4th character in the serial number exists in 2 bits, and if the 5th character exists in 2 bits, so W does not, and S also does not. So 5th and 4th character both don't exist in 2 bits, so neither of the previous 2 columns applied, so this returns true. Then going down to this table again, plus for true becomes false, minus for true becomes unknown. And now we're looking for when false unknown gives true from the 24th, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, yes. So we're looking for when false, so outside of this one, and unknown, so in this outer ring here, this sort of crescent ring, we're looking for when that's true. So it looks like we're going to be on ways again. Okay. So we're looking for green, so that's blue, red, red, blue, blue. red, blue, blue, green. False unknown gives true for the arrow. So the same one we had before. So I'm putting that in. Making sure when we just have the arrow. Yes. And hopefully, if we've done this right, we get a self module. So that was cruel Boolean wires. Just gonna check if there's anything else I need to go over. We didn't have a case which had an ampersand. For example, the red and purple rules apply from the module F. You might have seen this one on my channel previously. So we check if the red and the purple apply. If both apply, we get true. If neither apply, we get false. But if, say, we had indicator FRK or FRQ, but the serial number did not contain a character in F0X, then that would return unknown. We had a module glitch, which was the date being 29th. And this is just basically what all of the symbols look like. Some are easy, like equals being, there's equals right here, equals just being the top and the bottom line, up to, of course, the ampersand which we had, which is, of course, the ampersand shape, which is a bit less intuitive. So that was cool Boolean wires. Hopefully you understand how the module works now. There are probably some other difficult rules in here, but they are hopefully self-explanatory. There's one simple ones like whether or not module present, and then some random ones like this number raised to the power of the sum of the digits in the basic digit and rounded down, and the one-digit number from the Lucas sequence. So yeah. So hopefully you understand how the module works now, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. I'll see you later.